So we have a front version, and then we have a 3/4 profile, and then we have a side profile. We're gonna do the same thing that we normally do. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock. Intense. All right, I'm gonna put 8 minutes on. If you guys could, if you want, you know, your iPads or paper. All right, here's what I'm gonna start with. I'm just gonna use a marker, and I'm gonna keep kind of the same construction stuff that I normally do. Again, I have to create rules for myself to try to keep myself organized, and so I'm gonna visualize the upper portion of the head first. So I'm just going to start with a basic circle. Next thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line straight down. This is from the center of the top of the cranium through the center of the nose hole down to the little butt chin right there. I'm going to use, if I can, the bottom portion of the sphere here for where the nose is going to sit, and then I'm going to put the eye line above it. If I'm going to draw a child character, I'm going to use what would typically be my eye line, and that's where my nose is going to go. Again, the overall goal of this thing is to be able to draw human skulls in a few weeks from every possible vantage point. And so we might change some of our thinking here. So down right here, then I'm going to indicate where the eyes are going to go. I'm just going to give myself just a little bit of a scoop right there. And that's where the bottom of the upper palate is going to sit along with the teeth. And then I'm going to put another little scoop right there. And just a couple of lines are helping us figure out where this stuff sits. The nose, you know, I typically draw the nose as a bit of a triangle. It's got a little bit more of a kind of a flat shape up to the top. And then it's very circular and rotates back around. And there's that little bit of that line right here that sits into that bottom part of your cartilage. Now, I would typically draw the eye holes next. I don't know what the interior portion of the eye is. I know where the orbital bones are, and we can talk about bones and stuff in coming weeks. I don't want to complicate things too much because this could be a little bit overwhelming. But I'm just going to kind of indicate where those are. Now, that's not the right shape. There's a little bit more of a square shape here as opposed to a circle shape. But again, it helps me, and that's where you come up with rules that really just help you. I'm then going to draw this down. And this is going to be where our cheekbones are going to sit. Now, some of us have really pronounced cheekbones, others of which I don't think my cheekbones stick out very much. So again, everyone's going to be kind of different. That's where the bottom of the mouth is going to sit. I'm just going to kind of indicate where the teeth are going to go. Now, one thing that I've noticed just observationally is between the orbital bone, there is this scoop right here where our temple sits. And then things past our cheekbones sort of widen out to protect us and protect our brains. My brain's not well protected, I'll tell you that much. And then I'm going to sort of draw this up this way. This is going to be the outer edge of our jaw. Now, one thing we talk a lot about is like this portion of our skull doesn't move. This portion of our jaw does, and it hinges where it opens. The muscles all help the bones move, and where everything basically hinges is sort of right here as you go down into your mandible. So basically where your mouth sits, your jaw hinges right here. The hinging starts up here, but we're just going to kind of classify it right there. So on this particular skull, I'm going to draw this thing down. So right below the top teeth or right in line with the bottom teeth, I'm going to start to curve this thing back. And then we have a little bit of this coming down. And then we have this, and there's that little bit of the scoop. I wanted to read. Now, right here, I'm just kind of indicating where the brow bone starts to sit. And then I'm going to give myself, I'm just going to try to follow this as much as I can. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pronounced brow bone. But I'm noticing that there's some value and some stuff sort of helping us indicate shadows. Now, these eye socket shapes from this perspective, they kind of droop down a little bit. And I'm going to visualize a square, but I'm going to slant it down this way or slant it down this way. This is something that I don't necessarily do when I cartoon these characters, but this is something that I try to pay attention to if I'm trying to do a better version of it. And I'm noticing too on the outer edge of that orbital bone right there, there's that little bit of that lip. Now, if you take your tongue and you feel the upper portion of your teeth, you can feel those ridges between your teeth. And if you look at the reference on here too, you can see sort of like the skeleture. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to put those up here. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to cartoon one kind of skelly that I would typically draw, and give you a sense of like how I've been able to take this and morph it into something to help me have characters and stuff that I want to be able to have and stuff like that. I love on this too that there's just absolute heaps of shadow and value work. I think that this is the kind of thing that Rachel and her stuff does really, really, really well. I have to ask you guys, just in all seriousness, if Rachel, she and I were talking earlier today, if Rachel had a class or a workshop or a series of videos that were either paid or free, talking about light and shadow and value, white to black, and how a painter sees shapes. Is that something that you guys would lose your minds over? Is that something that you would be really excited about?